There are conflicting reports on what's really happening on the ground. But to tell us the real ground situation, I'm being joined by Ukrainian Ambassador to India, Ambassador Igor Polikha. Ambassador, many thanks for joining us here on India Today. Just to get a sense of what's happening on the ground, we know certain embassies have put out statements, but the Indian embassy has only said those students who do not essentially have to stay can return, the rest should continue. So what's your view?
First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the government of India for its very much balanced position. Unlike some embassies in Ukraine, your embassy confirmed that it's working in normal regime in full staff. Moreover, in the information spread by your embassy, it's mentioned that Indian students or Indian citizens may leave Ukraine, not must leave Ukraine. That's why we are most grateful for this balanced position. Situation in Ukraine and around Ukraine is difficult, but I don't think it's critical. Our President, our Security Council already addressed Ukraine, addressed foreign partners to keep quiet. We are looking for diplomatic solution of this conflict. For 8 years, situation is difficult, starting from 2014. As far as I can remember, there were a lot of exact dates of invasion which never came true. Yesterday, there was the meeting of Defense and Security Council of Ukraine. And its secretary, he emphasized, we are not expecting any invasion on the 16th, 17th, and onwards. Ukraine has received unprecedented international support. We are looking for peaceful solution. I am repeating once again, situation is difficult, but it's not critical. And I know that due to the fact that there are more than 20,000 Indian students in Ukraine, situation in Ukraine and around Ukraine is of high interest to the Indian society. A lot of letters from the relatives, from some politicians, but I am asking our Indian friends, of course, you should closely monitor situation, but situation is not absolutely critical for creating panic. And I highly appreciate that many Indian channels are visiting Ukraine, and I am asking all of you to make objective stories. You should talk to members of your community, you should talk to the people on the street, and you should not pursue sensations and some unverified information. Because now there is information on some Indian channels that the war started. There is no such information on Ukrainian channels, on Russian channels, on the Western channels. Please be more cautious and more careful with information. We are open to all Indian journalists. We are doing our best to help them to visit Ukraine as soon as possible. We are trying to help them to obtain all the information on the spot. But it doesn't mean that the trip of journalists to Ukraine should be devoted to finding some sensation, some provocative information, and some unverified facts.
Well, that's a very important point you make, Ambassador, sir, because we have been trying to not warmonger. There are channels, there are networks that have been warmongering, but you're saying that the situation on the ground is difficult but not critical.
Absolutely.
Having said that, the statement that has been put out by the Indian Embassy, certain Indian students are leaving. What do you have to say to the Indian students who are there? Should they stay on and monitor the situation till the time the Indian Embassy asks for evacuation? Because there are certain parents who are calling their children back.
I don't taken into account active diplomatic process, negotiation process, which is going on now. I don't see any immediate reason for massive evacuation or for massive panicking of the Indian students and citizens in Ukraine.
Right. Ambassador, sir, again, the German Chancellor was in Kyiv. He's going to be in Moscow. Negotiations are on. How is Ukraine looking at direct negotiations to ensure, with Russia, to ensure that the matter and the tensions are under control?
Ukraine repeated many times that we are open for negotiations with Russia, with Western partners. The only way out of this difficult situation is negotiations. And Ukraine is very much ready for them. That's why I am cautiously or even optimistic that situation will start improving.
Final question to you. While we know that a lot of Russian paramilitary forces or civilians are preparing themselves in the event of an eventuality, but the concerns for the Ukraine administration is also economy. That will economy and how economy could take a hit should there be a conflict between the two countries. Keeping all those areas in mind, how prepared is Ukraine?
Our president already mentioned that the major challenge for Ukraine at the present stage, the major danger is panic. Because panic may cause economic problems, economic hardships. That's why I am asking respectable Indian channels, please go to Ukraine, go to Kyiv, go to some border cities. You should make your own assessment after contacts with our people, with Indians. You should make objective information. And I am sure that respectable Indian channels are going to Ukraine just to find out the real situation and not for seeking some sensations, unverified facts, and just for war mongering.
Right.
And I rely very much upon your support on this issue.
Is the ministry in touch with you, ministry officials over here in India?
Yes, I am in touch with almost everyone.
Right. On that note, Ambassador, sir, many thanks for joining us here on India Today. A very clear message coming in from the Ukrainian Embassy in New Delhi that while the situation in Ukraine is difficult, it is not critical, and negotiations continue to be underway. Therefore, a war or a conflict in the near future does not seem likely. With video journalist Pavan Kumar in New Delhi, Geeta Mohan for India Today.